And we're live. How we all doing, folks? I'm here with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman,
Hello, everyone.
and just felt like shooting the shit a little bit on a Friday night. Um, Something immediately I wanted to cover. Let me see if I can find the. Here we go. Find the article. I'll throw it in the chat so Luke can. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, computer's being a little gay on me. All right, here we go. Here's the article, and it's actually, I guess, a video. But so in that Parkland school where there was the shooting, one of the new policies that's been implemented in the shooting is all the students will be issued ID badges, and they will be issued clear backpacks, like clear plastic backpacks, so that you can't smuggle anything in. Well, a bunch of them, including David Hogg, who may or may not even go to that school, if you ask me. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. David Hogg claims that this policy violates, quote, the First Amendment rights of students, and he cited potential embarrassment for students going through, quote, their menstrual cycle because of, quote, tampons and stuff. I know it's probably very embarrassing for David when everyone sees his tampons. But here's the thing, you dumb Marxist piece of pig shit, probably crisis actor dipshit. It wouldn't violate their First Amendment rights. It would violate their Fourth Amendment rights. Fourth Amendment is what grants us the right against unreasonable search and seizure. Not the first. You piece of pig shit. And also, echo. Also, what about you wanting to piss on my Second Amendment rights, cocksucker? So yeah, I thought that was extremely extremely interesting little story. A couple people popping up a chat. Bechtloff in the super early morning. I don't know what time zone you're in, but it's not even 11 p.m. here. Let's see.
Testing, am I back?
Yeah, there you are.
Awesome. I can play sounds again.
Okay. Well, why don't you play? Our good friend Mike Enoch had a little interesting something to say. And just to set up context, I found a video. If you go on Kronos' channel and search like Mike Enoch and Mr. Medicare, you could easily find it. But he was talking about like Irony Bros and the Black Pill Bros and all this other stuff. And he sort of lumped Mr. Medicare into that, or somebody mentioned Mr. Medicare when he was talking about that. And he then kind of was like, yeah, I guess, but I really, really like Medicare because Mike Enoch, I guess, is not stupid enough to poke that bear. So, but he had some interesting things to say about Aaron Clarey that go ahead and play it for us, Luke. Mike, take it away.
The point is that the general way of approaching things, you can always approach things from the perspective of, I'm just doing it for the lulz. I'm along for the ride. Remember when we used to go off on Aaron Clarey? Enjoy the decline, Captain Capitalism guy.
Yeah. Holy
and
shit.
And his whole thing was like, hey, everything's falling to shit. You might as well fuck trannies. Like, that's literally like that guy's position.
That's literally Aaron Clarey's position, is that you should go fuck trannies. No, Mike, I think you might be mistaking that with the position of TRS. I don't believe Aaron Clarey's ever so much as fucking mentioned trannies, except popping the occasion, or shooting the occasional joke Bruce Jenner's way. Fuck Mike Enoch. Fuck him right in his stupid, fat, disingenuous ass. Look, you can take issue with Aaron Clarey. Aaron certainly has his blind spots, and you could say, oh, he's advising everyone just give up and not try. Okay, fine. But see, that's not good enough for Mike. He's got to do SJWs always project. Well, I'm starting to think so do white nationalists, because y'all are the motherfuckers getting caught talking about trannies all the time. Okay. Y'all are the ones going down that path. Y'all are the ones that employed fucking Ghoul with his two mommies, butt fucking trannies. All right, so maybe you shouldn't be bringing up trannies. And here's the thing: you can be like, "Oh, Bechtloff, you're just defending Aaron Clary because he's your friend." And you know what? Yeah, full disclosure, Aaron's a good friend of mine. He's also a friend of the show. He's a frequent sponsor here. He sponsors both with his books and Asshole Consulting. Um, but you know what? Aaron is also several times the man Mike Enoch is or ever could be, and that's a fact. All right.
I mean, what has Mike Enoch actually accomplished in his life?
Nothing I know of. I don't know a great deal of the guy's personal life aside from other than being an anti-Jewish neo-Nazi. He's married to a Jew. You know,
and is
half rambling on about, you know, what an Aryan Superman he is. He's a fat, pudgy little piece of shit.
And a super not neo-Nazi, yet he has a black half brother. If that had any relevance.
Somebody says Ghoul actually dated a tranny. There's screenshots. Yes, that's fact. And that's the tip of the degeneracy iceberg going on over at TRS. Fuck Mike Enoch. All right. Fuck Mike Enoch. $2 super chat from Dan Giantsky, whatever. BuzzFeed caught wind of Comicsgate. Well, how about that?
These two pictures are the first pictures that come up on Google searches.
Yeah,
and even Aaron is still looking better.
Yeah, even with the cigar that you could make a phallic joke on, Aaron's even with a phallic in his mouth, Aaron looks like less of a cocksucker than Mike Enoch. How about that? Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
On a Google search, no less.
How about that? Aaron literally has what one could argue is a phallic symbol in his mouth, and he looks like less of a cocksucker than Mike Enoch. Fuck Mike Enoch. You know. And you know what? Everybody's all black-pilled because Trump passed a budget people don't fucking like and all that shit. And it's like, yeah, I'm not all that fucking happy with Trump this past month or so. But, you know, first of all, to all you alt-right motherfuckers, maybe if you'd have spent your political... I'm going to quote, paraphrase Forney here, because he said it, and it was dead on. Maybe if you spent your political capital, you know, trying to take over your local GOP and trying to, you know, get a coalition of you know, MAGA people and shit like that together, trying to get something done instead of throwing up Nazi salutes and fucking your mother-in-law and having TRS standard butt fucking pool parties. Maybe if you'd have done that instead, maybe we'd be in a better position right now. But you didn't, did you?
Really makes you think.
Yeah. And you know what? Whatever. I'm not even that upset about it. Like, I'm honestly more upset about Mike running his mouth and lying about a friend of mine than I am the grand fucking political scheme of things. I'm honestly more upset about that. Like, go fuck yourself, Mike. You lied. And don't tell me like, oh, I was being facetious about the training thing. You literally said that's literally his position.
And what's really annoying is that when you listen to Mike Enoch talk, there's a very clear indication that he's a complete, like, he's always philosophizing from his chair. Like, he's never actually involved in the situation. He's always trying to make him sound like, oh, he's trying to come up with something smart to say.
And you know what? Mike Enoch looked, you know, he's looking pretty good here recently because it's like, yeah, you beat the shit out of Sargon in a stream, you know, verbally, debate-wise, I should say. I'm not even sure if, you know, Sargon might even be able to kick your ass. That fat, pudgy little welfare queen might even be able to kick your ass in a mic. But you know what? Okay, you beat Sargon's ass in a stream. Whoopie jack shit, okay? I could have beaten Sargon in that stream, and I don't even really have your same positions as you. I don't necessarily... And that's the other thing. Before you're like, oh, you're just some cuck and you don't like him because he's all about the white ethno-state. Is he? First of all, is he really? You know, the TRS guys have all been on record saying it ain't going to happen. It's just something we rally around. It's just a vague idea we rally around. But here's the other thing. I'm not, to paraphrase Davis Rini, on paper, I'm not opposed to white nationalism. I'm not opposed to nationalism for any racial group of people. I'm not opposed to the idea of a white ethno-state. All right? I'm not opposed to these ideas. Aren't these? I'm not one of these cucks who thinks these are unthinkable ideas that should never be discussed in polite company. I think most of these guys, much like the what were the NRX guys before them with their Catholic monarchy LARPing, have no fucking clue on how to get from A to B. It's just some theoretical utopia they like to jack off about. But I'm not opposed to the idea inherently. Yeah, there's pragmatic issues with it, I think, but I'm not opposed to it inherently. I don't think that their political views, the guys like Mike Enoch make him a piece of shit. I think the kind of man Mike Enoch is what makes him a piece of shit, or the kind of man he isn't, is perhaps even a better way to put it.
Yeah, the quote unquote ethno state would probably have more progress if all the leaders were like Jared Taylor.
Yeah. And you'd be like, well, Bechtloff, you're just some dork on the internet. Yeah, I'm just some dork on the internet. I am just some dork on the internet. I don't dispute that. I don't run around like I'm the Aryan fucking Superman. I also don't lie about other motherfuckers' positions. And that's what Enoch did. He fucking lied. Because he knows none of his fans listen to Aaron Clarey. Because if they did, they probably wouldn't be pathetic enough to be following Mike Enoch. Because maybe they'd pull their head out of their ass. You can argue Aaron Clarey's too black-pilled on politics, and maybe he is. Although there's a lot of that going around Mike Enoch circles right now, isn't there? After this budget.
If nothing else, I think the budget is just useful to show how unstable our opposition can, how overreactive our mutual opposition is.
Well, it's true, but I think it's also sadly shown how overreactive, many on our side are. I mean, it's like I overreacted during the Syria thing. I fully admit that, but I'm not going to overreact again. And to some extent, you know what? I'm not going to get. I just at this point, and you can call me black pill, but here's the thing about a guy like Aaron Clarey's message. Yeah, maybe he's too black pill. Maybe he's like, like I would tone down his message a bit. That you should be politically involved. You should do what you can, all right? But at a certain point, you should, as best you can, structure your life so that you're sure up. You should be improving yourself first and foremost. Somebody says, wait, Bechtloff isn't a liberalist? No, I'm not a liberalist. Oh, what a joke. But it's like that's the only reason guys like Mike Enoch aren't more of a fucking joke right now is because Sargon is pulling this liberalist shit, which is even more of a joke.
Just for fun, or I actually want to make my own political movement just to show Sargon this is how it's done.
You probably couldn't do worse. But yeah, the liberalists out there shitting the bed is the only thing that keeps, was it, I mean, when I hear the alt-right did something, it's usually like, oh, what did they do now? How did they shit the bed now? Who's fucking whose mother-in-law now? Who's grooming little boys now? I'm sorry, teenage boys. So yeah, fuck Mike Enoch. And here's the thing. Aaron probably doesn't give a shit. That's the interesting thing about Aaron. I'm actually more upset than he is. I'm upset that someone's lying about a friend of mine. And frankly, I'm in a pretty good mood here these past few days. Just because of some stuff going on in my personal life. I'm in a pretty damn good mood. So yeah, that's part of why I'm not, fucking spurting out about the budget. And another part of it is like, hang on a second, guys. I got to wrangle in a dog.
Let's see what we got. The monarchy. Oh, I have a good verse for that one.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm not all worked up about it. And part of it is like, everybody wants to spurg on about, oh, Trump's budget isn't exactly what I thought it'd be. And actually, I've seen some people arguing, Personal Wolfness, I think it was on Gab had this tweet where it was somebody talking about that there actually is funding for the wall somewhere in this. I can't confirm it, nor I suspect can anyone who voted on it confirm it, because this thing was, this thing was a stack of papers 1.5 foot high, and it came out like 6 hours before everyone got the budget. But apparently there's funding for the Marines to build a wall down south. This is what I've heard. I can't confirm it, but whatever. So, who knows what kind of gamesmanship's being played behind the scenes. But more importantly, there's nothing I can fucking do about it one way or another. What am I going to do about it? Like, you're running your mouth like, oh, we're save the white race. Then why don't you stop being a fat, basement-dwelling Mike Enoch fan and go get your shit together, get yourself a woman, and make yourself some white babies? Oh, I want to save Western civilization. And why don't you take those fucking babies you made and instill into them the values of Western civilization?
And if that's too long of a process for you, go down to your local political party, political movements, and actually get involved. I mean, I know it's a very tedious and boring process, but that actually helps.
Yeah, run for fucking school board or some shit like that. Do something, all right? Quit sucking the cock of any given fucking podcaster. Like, don't fucking worship me either, all right? Yeah, if you enjoy the content I produce, by all means, go ahead and support me and that kind of stuff. And I hope this adds some entertainment and possibly some value to your life. But also just fucking live your life. And if you're like, oh, and more importantly, just get yourself right with God. All right. Have you heard of Jesus? All right. Stop fucking around with like Odin and other gay shit that is just bullshit you made up, that you pulled out of a history book because you want to actually worship your race. Like, stop with that shit. All right.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Exactly. Get yourself right with your maker. Try and just improve your life and just live your life. Just fucking enjoy your life. All right? Do what you can to make the world a better place. But just stop with the fucking Messiah complex. Stop thinking you got to shitpost the world into, stop with your meme magic and all this other horse shit. Just stop. It's time to stop. Get yourself right with your maker. Go find a woman to enjoy a life with. Maybe have some children.
Here's some Jordan Peterson advice.
Problems. It's like, yes, true. Well, so what do you do in the face of that suffering? Try to reduce it. Start with yourself. What good are you? Get yourself together for Christ's sake so that when your father dies, you're not whining away in a corner and you can help plan the funeral and you can stand up solidly so that people can rely on you. That's better. Don't be a damn victim. Of course you're a victim. Jesus. Obviously.
Yeah. And as much as the I keep saying, and I didn't come up with this. I saw it in a comment of some blog somewhere, whatever. But I always say that, the problem with a lot of these alt-right spurgs is they missed the manosphere on the way here. And what I mean by that is that they missed the idea of self-improvement that in its heyday, the manosphere was all about. As much as they want to shit on Jordan Peterson for being too blue-pilled on race, and yeah, he is, okay? The eternal boomer strikes again with him. What can you do? But you know what? As much as you want to shit on him for all that, I guarantee you, the white race would be a lot better off if more and more white kids were listening to Jordan Peterson lectures and following that advice than going to fucking TRS standard butt fucking pool parties.
Or what used to be the Workers' Traditionalist Parties and Matthew Heimbach.
Yeah. Ask yourself, take your average 17-year-old boy and say he just becomes a fucking disciple of TRS, and then take another 17-year-old boy and he starts listening to Jordan Peterson videos and applies that to his life. All other things being equal, Who the fuck do you think's going to be better off at 19?
I mean, sure, the person following Jordan Peterson's not going to go into those deep conversations about the Jewish question, but so what? Most of civilization's better for it.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it'd be great if Peterson pulled his head out of his ass a bit on race. But he's not going to, okay? Meanwhile, there's all this amazing wisdom, you know.
I mean, he'll touch on IQ differences and how important that is in society, but he won't attribute that to biological races.
It's like, you know what? Jordan Peterson and Jarrett Taylor are the only thinkers a young white boy needs to look at if you want a successful alt-right. And I'm not even 100% on board with the alt-right. I'm not even 100% on board. I think America should be mostly white. That's what I think America should be. Mostly white. And I don't know. Maybe that's completely... Maybe it's got to be all or nothing. I don't know. Maybe I'm being, completely, naive. All right? Whatever. But I'd certainly like to see things move in the direction that the alt-right's pushing them in. But it's not... I can't throw my lot in with a bunch of faggots, pretending to worship Odin and shit like that. And you don't fucking believe in Odin. Get the fuck out of here with that. Whatever. I mean, why didn't you pick Zeus? Why? Because he doesn't have a cool Marvel comic? What? Get the fuck out of here with that. I'm a Viking. Fuck you. You're a kike on a stick. Go fuck yourself. You don't believe in that shit. You're the adult right-wing male equivalent of a 14-year-old girl dabbling in Wicca. All right? That's all the fuck you're doing. Except unlike the teenage girl dabbling in Wicca, you're probably not even a demon in the sack, are you? Although, I don't know. That fat fuck Heimback is apparently quite the fucking player, so who knows?
You know what my images are going to be now?
What, hot Wiccan girls?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. I'm not going to object to that. It's going to be very distracting. But yeah,
that's my purpose, to distract and entertain.
Oh, the other thing I should mention, I got Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules, in the mail today. It got off my Amazon wish list, which, by the way, if you do enjoy the content I produce, you can support me in all manner of ways. There's the PayPal, where you make a one-time donation. There's the Patreon, where you can become a regular supporter. There's the Amazon wish list, where you could get some of the things I have selected on there. Yes, I know I'm such a lazy bum. I haven't got my cryptocurrency thing up yet. That's coming. And also, if you have some wares you'd like me to pimp, you can become a regular sponsor of the Saturday live stream. But anyways, I mentioned that I got this book, and I started reading it today. I think I finished chapter 1. Really good so far. He's a very engaging writer. But anyways, the reason I mentioned that is if any books that are bought off my Amazon wish list, any DVDs of movies or TV shows, and any video games, I will do reviews of. If now, it could just be that I do, or at the very least, I'll be talking about them on the live stream. I'll be giving, unstructured reviews on live. With video games and maybe TV shows, I might do animated videos. We'll see. But at the very least, I will be giving my thoughts on any of these things. Like there's just a few things on the Amazon wish list. Like I think I got a couple of video games. I know, like somebody had told me the Weird Science show was actually on TV, or the Weird Science TV show was actually on DVD. So I threw that on there, stuff like that. There's a few other books. Like I think I have White Identity by Jarrett Taylor, which I never read. The Bell Curve, which I only read parts of years ago. That's just other stuff on there. But yeah, any kind of media stuff like that, games, shows, movies, books, I will do at least a small review and a live stream of. So Because I mean, I appreciate it. If somebody gets me something off the Amazon wish list, I appreciate it. And if I can, turn that into making the show more interesting, I'm going to do that. Somebody says, have you put the $1 million night with Taylor Swift event on the wish list? I did not know that was a thing, but yeah. Reform Thomas says, so what is Bechtloff talking about tonight? I was talking about how y'all motherfuckers need Jesus.
The white nationalists need Jesus.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, genuinely believing in Odin or Thor would be better than this, but they don't believe in anything spiritual.
No, they don't really fucking believe in Odin. That's just what it is with that shit is they want to worship their race. So they want to have a white god. So they pull this dusty old relic out of the history books.
Yeah, they sooner worship Taylor Swift, honestly. It would be better for them.
Let's see. Good old Tay-Tay. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like the fucking Gab today was just unreadable. It was nothing but fucking black pills. It's like, yeah, this isn't the best fucking. I don't know why, but that little like that little gift there, her like kind of thing. She looks so fucking cute in that. I don't know. I guess I like it when a girl gives you a little bit of attitude like that. I like a challenge. And you gotta bend her over your knee and break her of that attitude. I'm sorry, did I say all that out loud? I stand by it though. Let's see. Taylor Swift donated money for the March for Our Lives gun control march. Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty fucking disappointing.
Oh.
But you know what? I don't know Taylor Swift the person. I like Taylor Swift the brand. I've explained this before, but the reason I like Taylor Swift is I like the fact that there's a little feminine white girl that's unapologetically feminine and unapologetically white. Let's see. Somebody says black pills are always taken anally. This is true. Hey, Bechtloff, good news. Jane Foster is dead and Thor is Thor again. Oh, that's cool.
What are you doing? Getting receipts? I'm gonna edit this later. I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative.
Let's see. Somebody says, doesn't Wicca predate Christianity in the West? Certainly America. No, well, not America. No, America was founded by Christians. The only thing that predates Christianity in America is whatever the fuck things Indians were worshiping. I don't know, an eagle that turns into a wolf or whatever the fuck those different tribes worshipped. But no, Wicca doesn't predate fucking anything. Wicca is something that came about in like the fucking 70s. Now, the Celtic mythology that Wicca is very, 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 very loosely based upon, like to the same extent Marvel's Thor is based upon fucking actual Norse mythology. That Celtic mythology predates Christianity in Europe, certainly. But no, Wicca doesn't fucking predate anything except maybe Kwanzaa. Yeah, whatever the fuck Kwanzaa is a holiday of. Let's see. Bechtloff, what would you do if Taylor Swift changed your hair color to red? Probably faint. Let's see. Native Americans worship the Great Spirit. I mean, yeah, I've heard that, but I'm pretty sure the different tribes had varying different religions among them. You know, it's quite the mistake to paint Native Americans in an overarching brush. They were every bit as different as the different cultures of Europe were.
Every night, but they best be made of beeswax, so y'all might as well be white. They must be made of beeswax, so you might as well be white.
Let's see. Wicca is pure roleplay. Taylor Swift needs a husband to tell her what's up. Well, I volunteer as tribute. So he says no Kwanzaa came before Wicca. It might be. Might be. Somebody says, I'm pagan, and I will say Wicca was created in the 50s. That wouldn't surprise me. I know it's... I highly doubt it could be older than that. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, remember the TV show Proud Family?
Oh, yeah, there was like a Disney cartoon. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they actually had a whole Kwanzaa episode.
Oh, geez, of course they did. That's a shame because, like, I don't know. Normally that show wasn't all about pushing, like, black politics. It was just a cartoon about a black family. You know, it very much reminded me of the Cosby Show in that regard. You know, it wasn't about pushing some sort of. It was actually just a cartoon of black people. It wasn't about some anti-white horse shit. But Kwanzaa is a whole bunch of horse shit.
Yeah, the closest that show ever got to it was like the girl had some sort of dream where she flashed back to like the 60s. And what's interesting is that she actually wants to improve race relationships, but everyone else around is like, no, you don't want to do that. Like, and this one time she has a white friend over. Says, Penny, do you know that girl's white?
Wicca, we got a $5 super chat by Dashing Rogue, and he states that Wicca was started in the 1950s by a cuck named Gardner. What we now call Wicca has been perverted by feminism, like Margaret Adler and Starhawk. Okay. All I remember is like all I remember is my high school sweetheart dabbled in it quite a bit, and
I guess this is Gardner.
Okay. Apparently,
here's witches are peaceful religious people.
Okay. So he says the Proud Family was fucking hilarious. The grandma and the father were always going at it. I saw a little bit of it when it was on. I mean, it was a bit after my time. I wasn't a kid when it was on, but I did watch a little bit of Disney Channel because I really liked Kim Possible. And every once in a while, I'd just catch the Proud Family. Usually, like, having it on in the background while I'm doing something else. Like, I wasn't, watching it very intently. Let's see. Going to the chat here. Amazing atheist has let himself go. Someone in the chat says, "How the fuck can you tell?" Like, how much more can he go?
Has he ever been in shape?
Reform Thomas says, "Of course you'd watch the show with the redheaded cheerleader with attitude." Yeah, that was definitely part of it. It was a genuinely funny show. A lot of the people that worked on the Clerks cartoon actually worked on that show.
Oh, the actual art designer is Steven Silver.
Yeah.
The characters. Yeah,
it's the exact same art style. I mean, in my head, I choose to believe they take place in the same world. It's just they just don't cross over. But while all that Kim Possible stuff's happening, the Clerk show is happening over in Jersey. Just fun fact. Holy shit! Somebody in the chat just said Boogie2988 has died.
What?
Are you fucking with me in the chat or what? Somebody says, "Nah, the amazing Banana Boy atheist looks like a plumper gardener." Boogie is dead. Is that fucking real?
Just last night, I deleted a YouTube comment. Users, wait. That he killed my wife and left me in mourn. What is this? 28 seconds ago. Thank you. This means a lot coming from you. Oh, he was alive 28 seconds ago. Assuming that's him.
Yeah, I don't know who's going off this. Yeah, everyone. So he says Boogie died. You trolling Tom? Bullshit. Heart attack? No way. R.I.P. Boogie 1488. He is dead. No, I don't think he's dead. Nothing on Google. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I think somebody in the chat's just fucking with me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really wouldn't doubt it. Like, that guy doesn't have long. I don't know who had March in the pool. Although I always did think he'd outlive Spoonie at least.
Well, he actually has a career in front of him at the moment.
Yeah, he has some reasons to live. The latest tweet from him was 50 minutes ago. Yeah, so I don't believe he's dead.
You know how he's depicted on his Twitter?
How's that?
Let me see if I can get this picture. This is him on his Twitter. There's a slight exaggeration in it. To see if you notice.
Yeah, somebody needs to exhale. Reform Thomas wants to hop in on this, so why not? You want to hop in this stream? You can. Boom. Here you go. Alrighty. I think Boogie is actually losing weight. Yeah, he did get that gastric bypass thing.
Have you seen his weight loss dance?
I have not seen his weight loss dance. I mean, he lost about 200 pounds when his wife left him, right? But or however much his wife weighed, I don't know. Yeah, but I know. I'm sure his wallet's a little easier, or a little lighter right now. It's a meme people to say Boogie died. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I hadn't heard that fucking meme. And besides, I mean, tell me he's not like, halfway there. Like, tell me you'd be fucking shocked to hear he died. I mean, I'd be a little surprised that I hear the news right when I'm on air, but yeah, Pastor Tom, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad.
Cool. Wife's asleep, so I'm just chilling, and I was like, I'll hop on. So,
yeah, we were talking about how the alt-right needs Jesus. Maybe.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I really want to watch that debate that JF had with a Christian, apparently. Although I heard that guy was like a Catholic, so.
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, maybe stop boinking your mom-in-law and grooming teenage boys. We could have gotten something done.
Is that a recent picture of Boogie?
How old is this, Jeff? I don't know. Oh no, this is probably before.
The reason it looks kind of blurry is because his gravity actually bends light around him.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I didn't see anything looking like he died, so I just
it's real quick. People were just screwing with me in the chat.
Yeah.
Here it is.
My cherry flaps.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that's the whole reason with the whole paganism thing is, worship your own race. They don't want to, have to deal with Christianity because the whole Jewish thing. So
I'm not going to worship a dead Jew on a stick, because right here we have the majesty of the white race in front of us. Yeah. All right, Luke, go put like Misty art on, or put some Kim Possible art up. Why don't you do that? I don't want to watch Boogie play with his man titties.
Yes, sir.
That's not an appealing sight for me. Somebody says a lot of the alt-right are Catholics. This is true. see. Somebody says Boogie can't die. Yeah, Boogie is actually immortal. Fun fact. Every time he's cucked, he just gets stronger.
What the heck, Luke?
DeviantArt is a miracle sometimes.
That's delightful. That's just fantastic. Bechtloff, I think I figured out where your hate speech was. You said vets with mental problems shouldn't tell the government because they could be disarmed. I did say that. I would be, if I was a veteran, I was having some sort of PTSD. Obviously, you need to get yourself some help, but I would be very weary of getting that help through the VA.
VA is a pain in the neck anyway. They make you have to jump through a bunch of hoops.
I'd be very wary that they put some sort of this guy's crazy and batshit thing permanently on your record. And then when you want to buy a gun, that you can't do it now. Somebody says Bechtloff can fap to that. I most likely could. Let's see. Somebody says, "Hey Matt," I think he's referring to. I guess he's referring to Forney. Seriously, you really should get in shape. Sometimes I like what you promote, but it's very hard to defend because you don't embody the values you promote. Matt's a lot more in shape than he was. I mean, you know, self-improvement's a journey more than a destination. Somebody says she's underage, referring to Kim Possible. What are you, a cop? Let's see. I can hear police sirens now. Yep, they're coming. Whoop, whoop. It's the sound of the police. You guys are going to jail for being a red-blooded heterosexual. That's probably damn near illegal anymore. Let's see. Somebody says, "Oh shit, Forney isn't even on right now." Yeah, Forney's not on. I'm not sure. State enforced homosexuality. Yep. Sam Hyde's speech coming true every day.
Well, it's going to be state indoctrinated homosexuality once we, the schools keep going the way they're going.
Ugh. I would not send a kid to public school right now. That's for sure. Bechtloff, Kim Possible was 18 in the last episode of the show. Well, that's good to know. Dashing Rogue. I actually haven't seen the last few episodes of it. I think it was like released as a movie or something, but then I guess in reruns it gets split up into like 3 parts. But I haven't actually seen the very end of the show.
I have.
I know like her and Ron get together finally, but other than that, I really don't know what the hell's going on in it.
Oh, that's actually halfway this season, because in that last movie, they actually do get together. The following seasons are them actually being a couple.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's right. That actually, Kim Possible got a season 4, and that was back when Disney Channel had like a rule that shows only got 3 seasons, and it was actually a big deal for that show to get a season 4. I kind of remember that. We have a $5 super chat from Dashing Rogue. He says, paganism either goes to ideal worship or ego worship. Boyd Rice is an example of ego worship part of it. He also started the Jew on a stick meme.
Wonderful.
Let's see. Somebody says, if Kim has kids with Ron, does that make her kid stoppable, or does her genes override his failure genes? Oh, that's being a little hard on Boran. Luke, did you ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I did, from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually saw a few episodes of that. It's actually pretty good.
Would not recommend
I've heard good things about it.
Would not recommend Korra, but that's just my personal taste.
There's a good guy on YouTube called ER. He talked about that.
Oh yes, he did.
On it. I like his stuff.
I really like the Force and Gorges that he does.
Yeah, he did a great video on that. What the hell was it called? The Get Out, the movie Get Out.
Of course, it got taken down. He had to put it on another channel on BitChute, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody says I went shooting today. Really slaughtered the cardboard cutout. Oh, when I shoot, I like to because I don't have to go to a range. I go to behind a buddy's house. We have an area where we can actually shoot. But we like to fill up like plastic jugs with water and shoot them. So you get the satisfaction of seeing the water come out the holes and stuff.
I can't remember. One time when we were shooting, it was something real explosive. I ended up shooting it, causing the whole thing to blow up.
Oh yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Basically, anything more than a 45 will do that.
This was a
45
or 15.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
And one guy was taking shots at it, and I shot it twice and got on the second shot.
Oh, I haven't seen this video, but it should be fun.
Oh, it's the Steven Universe.
No, it's by ER.
Oh.
I know he did one on Steven Universe.
Is something the matter?
You are fake news.
What?
And it was fake news for a long time.
I don't understand.
I'm sorry. It's just so much fun being fake with you.
That's why I couldn't see
evidence of Russian collusion.
Wait, let me explain. You fixing the
Narrative.
In my imagination, it was true.
You tricked me.
No, we just needed a reason to
Fake news.
I just wanted to share a few more
Special facts.
with you.
Special
facts.
It was just for ratings.
Don't defend her.
Real news.
Is out there somewhere and
CNN.
been distracting us with nothing.
So he says, I can't buy a gun, but I got a bow. It's something. Well, yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing. Somebody says, Boyd Rice is Gnostic. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Gems did 9/11.
No, I got a bow too. It's a 75-pound compound bow.
I'm the Avatar. You gotta deal with it.
Did you hear Dan Harmon's big dialogue is over fight Nazis rant? I haven't, but please, Dan, please go ahead. Oh, I did hear that Rick and Morty won't get a season 4.
Ooh.
Here's the reasons I've heard. Now these are rumors, but this is what I've heard. Everyone's kind of pushing around. Number one, and this is the actual numbers. Cartoon Network Adult Swim loves to rerun shit left and right because they got a lot of airtime to fill. And what's interesting is season 1 and 2 did really good numbers both initially and in rerun. In fact, season 1 through word of mouth actually did better numbers in rerun. Season 3, however, did really good numbers on the initial airings and then complete drop-offs in reruns. And I thought of that myself, and I thought, I did watch season 1 and 2 a whole bunch. I watched season 3 one time per episode. And I didn't hate season 3. It was an obvious drop-off in quality, but I thought it was still a decent show. But it was clear, it had peaked, and by at least season 5, it was probably going to become a complete embarrassment. The other reason is supposedly Dan Harmon is a fucking pain in the ass to work with, and nobody at Adult Swim wants to deal with him.
Wait, I think I have heard that Dan Harmon fight the Nazi speech. Is that where he's like, you just fight them? Like it's no talking or anything like that?
Like, please, Dan, please. I can't wait for you to get your dumbass shot.
Of course, that was something I was thinking about the other day. Most shows, like, if they're really good, they last about, 7 seasons or so. Most shows peak within about 4 seasons, But, I mean, if we could say it's a really good show, maybe 8 seasons or something like that. How do you think that translates to YouTubers? Because, I mean, these are shows that are coming on, like, once a week, every week. And then you got YouTubers that are sometimes on every day. But with actors and stuff, they can go to a different show and try to be relevant like that because they're in a new show. But with YouTubers, I don't know. It seems interesting how they sort of have to adapt.
Yeah. I mean, you look at somebody like James Rolfe. Now, I think James Rolfe is still consistently entertaining to this day, and he's been doing it about as long as anybody you could find that's still out there. And yeah, he still does angry video game nerd stuff, but he also does other things. He's tried to diversify. And unlike Doug Walker, he's diversified without completely abandoning the first thing people like there. Yeah, you do. And like even JonTron's evolved quite a bit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, people have kind of go through the different phases, things that were kind of like really popular. I mean, for one point, like the angry review was pretty popular. Then for a while, it was more the positive review, and then, you had the anti-theist stuff, and then you have the anti-SJW stuff. And now you've got whatever we're dealing with right now, IBS, I guess. So, it's just, but, I think it just stems from the fact that most of these things only last, couple of years, like the angry video game reviews, they sort of last the longest. But again, back then with the algorithms, they could make a video per week. It's not like today to where, you have people making videos, 3 times a week or every day or anything like that. Which I think that's why that had more longevity, is because they could be divided up. I think YouTube kind of kills genres faster with these algorithms where you have to make videos like every day almost.
Well, both JonTron and Angry Video Game Nerd, I've noticed, have really upped their, especially JonTron, really upped the production value. Like they took their success and invested in their product.
Yeah.
I think that really helped both of them.
Just let me die! Just let me die! Let me die in peace! I'm perfect! I'm too perfect! This is what happened.
I don't know. I was never really a big fan of the AVGN. I remember when I first started watching some of those things, I was watching more Doug Walker. Because I think the first review was when he reviewed the Power Rangers movie. I think that's the first one I ever saw. And then I watched his, I think it was his All Stars review. So I was a pretty big fan of his. Like, I mean, I never got on the website or, never did anything like that. But I watched pretty regularly his videos up until about, I think, 2012.
I actually didn't even discover him and his crowd until 2012. And I binge watched a lot of the back catalog and thought it was really good. But I hopped in right as they were basically turning to shit.
Yeah. When he left on a pretty strong note, and then when he came back, it was not the same at all. And I really couldn't get past the first couple episodes, and I just kind of stopped watching after that.
I thought the first episode of his return was good. I think he did. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was some show where like parents adopted a plant kid or something, or some movie. I mean, where that happened, and it was actually a pretty current movie. And he had said like the rules of the new Nostalgia Critic were I'm only going to do it twice or every other week, and because I don't want to get burned out again, and I'm going to not just do nostalgic things. It's going to be whatever I feel like talking about. I thought, that was good, and it was kind of a good start. But the biggest problem was, I think, like the demo reel people didn't belong in the Nostalgia Critic show. But I guess he had them signed on or something, or he felt bad that the other show didn't last or whatever, and he kept them into the Nostalgia Critic, and they just didn't work in it. Very rarely did those skits with them ever land.
Yeah, no, they weren't funny. It didn't fit the format. He would have had to really change the format, or he should have done something else to kind of work with them. But you're right. They did not work in the Nostalgia Critic format. Of course, some of his reviews are starting to get way too long either. Like his best stuff is when his reviews are around, 15 minutes or so. When he starts getting into like the 25, 30-minute reviews, to me, that's when they really started going downhill.
The only skits I thought were funny with those two actors were like there'd be some where the black dude would play the devil and the girl would play the daughter of the devil. Those were actually kind of funny little characters that they did. Even that could get old if they pushed it too much. But like where I thought it was really well done was in the review of the live action Cat in the Hat movie. Yeah. Even there, I thought like where the actors would play like Doug's brother and the black guy played like movie executives, and that kind of dragged on a bit. but I don't know.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite ones is when he did the Warriors of Virtue. I really used to like I like that one. Back when he reviewed that. But have you ever heard of Ace Salieri?
No, I don't think I have.
For a long time, he had I don't know what he does now, but for a long time, he was the guy who had a show called Reviewing the Reviewer, and so he would look at a lot of these guys, and he wouldn't look at a lot of the big names for a while. Usually, he'd look at like the knockoffs. So like he reviewed the Irate Gamer for a while. He reviewed the Game Dude and stuff. Like he was talking about the Game Dude like I don't know 3 years before even Medicare talked about him. But it was pretty funny stuff though how he would do it. Just kind of exploring this whole because so many people thought that they were going to get on there and be as big as Doug Walker and anything, and it was pretty cringy stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of it was awful.
Yeah. Another reviewer that I used to watch a whole lot, although I hadn't anymore, was SF Debris. He's not really on YouTube though. He's got his own website, but he did a lot of Star Trek stuff. He does a lot of like sci-fi, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually sponsored an episode of his. I donated money. It was years ago. I donated money. I mean, shit. It was probably like over 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago when I donated him money. And he finally got to it. Now, in all fairness, he had a big back catalog of requests. Plus, he had some health issues.
What was the episode you wanted sponsored?
The Tin Man episode for TNG.
Okay.
Because I always thought that was one of the early season episodes that actually it wasn't the greatest, but it had some of the more interesting concepts in it.
Yeah.
But another one I like is a channel called Stop Skeletons from Fighting, and it actually started with an incredibly derivative name of the Happy Video Game Nerd.
Yeah. I've heard of him.
But I like that guy's stuff, and they just recently he started putting his girlfriend or wife or whatever in the videos, which I think is probably a dumb mistake. But they did a video. One of the guys that used to work at Microsoft just for kind of fun, and it became a really popular homebrew game, decided to make a version of Halo for the Atari 2600.
Huh. That's cool.
Just called Halo 2600. And they did a sort of short little documentary. I think it's only like a half an hour on just how that came to be. And they were interviewing this guy. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
Den says a $2 super chat here of Lindsay versus Medicare on the Kumite. That would be fucking fantastic. That's never going to happen.
No.
In this or most other universes will that ever happen.
Oh man, that would be great for him to like ask her questions about that video. That rat video that she did.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny too. Like I got a sponsored live stream to like I guess people were disappointed because at that point Medicare had decided not to do a video on Lindsay because he thought she was boring. So somebody sponsored a live stream of me shitting on Lindsay Ellis for an hour. And so I started doing a little research and I'm like, holy shit, Medicare's right. She is fucking boring. Because it's like you get like 20 minutes of material out of her. It's like, yeah, there's a cringy dumb feminism. Yeah, Todd's an obvious cuck. She had an abortion. She's a huge bitch. She's thin-skinned. And then, then what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm sitting up on those aping. I need it like a wild ape head. My penis is bent and misshapen, so I'm spending my nights out raping.
Somebody asked, any news on Spoonie? Is he dead yet? I don't know.
Gosh. What a waste of talent right there. I mean, Spoonie, talk about one of, someone who, if anybody could really take his shtick and turn it into like a crappy TV show, it would have been Spoonie. Like I could see him having something kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 because I think he was talented enough to like pull something like that off. And he just absolutely just what a waste of talent.
Remember, if you're ever mad at Spoonie, just know that you don't hate Spoonie half as much as Spoonie hates Spoonie.
I don't know. Because, I mean, you go and you watch some of his older stuff. I mean, it still is pretty funny, even today. I mean, some of it hasn't aged well, but I mean, like his Thing video, I think is still good.
Well, one of the biggest problems when I try and go back and watch Spoonie is the biggest appeal to a lot of these guys is that they had a certain everyman appeal. So many of these guys, it felt like, you know, you were listening to your buddy bitch about a movie. And Spoonie had that. The problem is now, though, I can't go back and separate what I now know of Spoonie from those videos. The everyman appeal, it's like listening to your buddy on the couch appeal is gone, because I know that Spoonie is in fact a reprehensible shithead.
Yeah.
So if I try, and I mean, like, my favorite of his videos were when he did the Pumpkinhead video game.
Oh yeah, that's
I was
a really
kind of
good one.
surprised that he had never heard of Pumpkinhead movie, because I mean, like, it's not the biggest of horror movies, but it's pretty well known within horror fans, and I thought he was a horror fan.
Yeah, I mean, even I knew who Pumpkinhead was. I mean, it would come on the Sci-Fi Channel pretty regularly.
But anyways, he goes on about this game, and this game that just was as obscure as could be at the time, and was cryptic and bizarre as all bullshit. This game was the perfect storm of nonsense for him to cover, and the videos are fantastic. If you want to watch a Spoonie video, I recommend those.
Yeah,
but
Stephen
I also
Williams in the
recommend
chat, his SWAT 4 videos, those are also great.
Yeah. I also recommend, though, that you not watch a Spoonie video. like don't even get if you're not familiar with him, don't even get yourself emotionally invested in him, because the end of this story is heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, look at the difference, like in those two pictures that Luke picked up. You know, you've got one from a little bit earlier, and then you've got that other one when he was doing Ultima. And I mean, he just, you know, even if you got rid of the makeup and stuff, you could still tell it was a big difference. But, you know, a lot of these people just really started to take themselves way too seriously with a lot of that stuff.
And, you know, I think just the nature of the format is you burn out when you're just, like, even when I was doing a blog just as a creative outlet years ago, before I even got on, like, doing a podcast or anything, like, yeah, I covered a lot of comic book shit, but I also covered what was in the news or anything else I felt like talking about. Because I couldn't do a show on just one topic.
Well, see, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. You know, like beforehand, where, you know, a lot of these like television shows, you know, they peak after about 4 seasons or so, and a lot of these people, after a couple of years, you know, they just run out, and that makes sense. You know, that's why, you know, YouTube. A lot of these people who like quit their jobs and everything and just devote everything to YouTube. I don't think by and large for that kind of thing it's sustainable. You know, unless you're doing something where you're talking about news, and so you could keep that going for a while, like gaming news, or you're doing some type of streaming or something. For a lot of these people, it really just can't be a sustainable income, especially for like original content.
Yeah, you look at like Pat the NES Punk's another good example. You know, he started out just doing NES reviews, you know, and then I mean, now one of the biggest things he does is his podcast, and he does little snippets of the podcast, and it covers just gaming and geek news in general. But he's also like produced actual products. I mean, he's produced that big NES guide, which is, you know, there was nothing like it out there. It's this huge, well-produced, full-color guide to all 800 plus games in the NES library.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there hadn't been something like that, and I'm sure it was quite the endeavor for him to do. I think he actually kickstarted it. But it turned out to be this really fantastic product that he's put out there. And guys like Spoonie and Doug, they've done nothing like that. You know, Doug kickstarted, or whatever crowdfunding site he used, I can't remember. Indiegogo, I think it was. But, you know, he crowdfunded a fucking game show that turned out to be an abortion. And near as we can tell, the money went up his nose or some shit.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Linkara supposed to be? No, he did. He did collect money for a movie, and he did end up making it, right?
Yeah, he did. Linkara is, as far as being good to his fans, you really can't fault Linkara.
All right, in terms of, you know, making videos, yeah, but sometimes he can go off on his fans, you know, and be very obnoxious. Like, you know, he was because I never really watched Linkara because I was not big in the comic books. His voice is kind of annoying to me, but I did watch a couple of his Power Ranger videos just because, you know, I remember watching Power Rangers as a kid. But like one of those videos, he spends like 5 minutes just complaining to his fans about, you know, don't ask me when these videos are going to be out, don't tell me anything, like all of this nonsense.
He's very douchey about even when he says stuff that's reasonable. Like he could have just gone out there and said, "Look, guys, this is a side project I'm doing. It's not going to be on a regular schedule. I appreciate that you like it, but I'll get them done when I can." That would have been fine, but instead he just got to be a douche about it. Like when he did his ad block video, he could have just gone out there and said, "Look, guys, if you want me to be able to keep doing this regularly and at the same quality I do it, I have to be supported financially, and that means, it helps me if you watch the ads." That would have been fine. But he whined about how you're basically stealing from him, and then kind of was almost hypocritical and like just turn the volume off on the ads or something. Like I'm sure your advertisers love to hear that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just watch another video, do something like that.
Like it's like It's like when he goes off on those kind of rants, I find myself saying like I basically agree with you, but I still want to punch you in the mouth. Yeah, exactly. It's like you
guys are listening.
But at the same time, he's produced his videos on a regular basis. If you like Linkara's videos, you can't complain that the quality is going down or anything like that. And a few interactions I've had with him on social media back when I was on Twitter and all, he always seemed really nice. He was always willing to retweet things that fans asked and stuff like that. He was among Channel Awesome guys, he seems like the least douchey in many ways. In many ways, not so much, but in many ways, I should say he seems like the most professional. Let me put it that way.
I'd definitely say he's the most professional. I would say probably one of the least douchies might be Fayless.
Yeah, I can see that with Fayless. Fayless, I like Fayless, and I like Lupa. I still watch them once in a while.
I didn't really ever watch any of like Lupa stuff, but I did like a lot of Fayless' stuff because there was a time where I really liked horror movies, so it was kind of neat to see him, going through some of these things and hearing his thoughts. And he was kind of funny because again, he never took himself seriously, and like I never saw him beginning to like maybe a little bit. He kind of got into the Doctor Who stuff, really kind of, but then he really backed off of that.
Lupa's videos on the subspecies movies from Full Moon are really good, especially if you like obscure horror.
I thought his Triangle video was really good.
Yeah. I love when he's covering like Ghostbusters shit and Ninja Turtle shit. He's really good at that.
Yeah, his bootleg stuff is pretty interesting too.
Oh yeah, they're great. I keep hearing the rumor that floats around that like Fayless is a cuck, like literally, like he watches Lupa get fucked, and I'm just like, you know what? I really hope that's not true because they both seem kind of cool. But if it is true, I volunteer.
Well, you can't now. You got a girlfriend.
I don't know where people are getting
among other moral
rumors about. These people are getting these vicious rumors about my personal life. I have not said anything about what's going on in my personal life, and people are just. I cannot confirm nor deny what's going on in my personal life.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. Has the Medicare Karen stuff calmed down finally? Like they're the honey badger stuff?
No. That's those ladies. They called the thunder down on them. They don't know it yet. I don't think it's dawned on them how badly they fucked up. But that was just one in a series. Now he's doing it broadly on the men's rights movement, but he's going to be looking into a lot of shit going on with the honey badgers, and I don't think it's going to go well for them.
I heard a rumor somewhere saying that Medicare was a deist. I don't think that's true.
Medicare has described himself as being, I guess, kind of agnostic, but largely in the sense that he quote unquote doesn't care.
Kind of like Razor Fist.
I wouldn't doubt if he was a deist. I mean, when I was an agnostic, quote unquote, I was mostly just a deist. I really doubt it. I never really doubted that there was some sort of higher power. But yeah, and I've heard rumors Medicare was actually headed a bit more in the religious direction, and some of his language, like when he was going after Jonathan Ross, using terms like degenerate and shit like that with him. I don't know. I hope Medicare is going to make his peace with God. I really do.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's funny, like when he tries to analyze Medicare, and like everyone tries, he's really just a troll and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, but he's this way on the internet, but because he views the internet as a place to not be serious.
Mm-hmm.
That's
well,
the
the
thing.
other thing I think, and I mean, you could maybe argue I was doing it just now, saying I hope he's getting closer to God. But everybody wants to project on Medicare their views.
Yeah.
Like Sargon was all like, "Oh, Jim, you really agree with us, right?" And I Enoch in that little video I played the clip of where he was accusing Aaron Clary of being all about banging trannies. Enoch, you lying fat piece of shit. But Enoch was going off about how Medicare's basically just like us. He just doesn't want to admit it for strategic reasons. When in fact, Medicare was actually asked full on in one of these hangouts, one of these blood sports hangouts by one of these guys. It was like the post show after one of these alt-right guys had pushed some liberalist shit in or something like that. And they asked Medicare, he goes, if you weren't dating an Asian chick, would you be, one of us? And he's like, would I be a white nationalist? And Medicare just goes, probably not.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so. I mean, I don't really think he would. He's never struck me as that. It would be interesting. He said at one point that he was going to make a video, kind of like describing his political position, which would be interesting to just kind of see where he stands on certain things. But
I mean, I just assume he's a libertarian conservative.
Yeah, that's kind of struck me as what he is, more or less.
Yeah.
As for Karen Strong,
you've called down the thunder. Now get ready for the boom!
I like that Grinch movie. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I always thought it was decent too.
Although, would it have been more appropriate for you to get, the tombstone "You've Called Down the Thunder"?
I couldn't find that fast enough.
The best part of that movie is when he's just sitting there saying no. No.
Somebody in the chat says, as much of a midwit normie as Phil DeFranco is, he does run his channel intelligently. Yeah, I've actually found the Phil DeFranco show to be a good little, small little news show, basically. Yeah, I do catch it regularly. It's a decent update of some news stories.
That's one of the things I like Sticks about. I mean, his political stuff I think is pretty on point most of the time. He tends to have a pretty objective view, which I appreciate. I don't really watch any of his occult videos or anything like that. But like I said, most of his political stuff is pretty good.
He's very hot topic in his theology.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I really like Razorfist Deep Space Nine videos. Those have been pretty good.
Yeah, they've been great. I've caught all those so far.
So I can't wait till he gets into some of the later episodes because, I mean, season 1 I think is my least favorite of DS9. I really like, I think probably season 5 or 6 is probably season 6 is probably one of my favorites. But then season 4 is also really good too.
Somebody in the chat says Medicare, Jim is like a Pat Buchanan paleoconservative. Medicare equal John Birch Society. That's probably close. Again, I don't want to necessarily project or put words in his mouth, but if I had to guess. Somebody says Jim realizes there was no one smart enough and or honorable enough to align with. And yeah, I'm sort of reaching that conclusion myself.
Well, I don't think he's black-pilled, though. Like, some people are saying, oh, he's just black-pilled. I don't think that's the case.
That's not what I'm thinking. I think he just doesn't feel like throwing his lot in with people because he knows, as soon as he does, they're likely to turn into a bunch of faggots.
Well, I mean, I don't think he really cares enough if it's on the internet. That's the thing. I think if Jim was going to do something, he'd do it in real life. On the internet, he just views the internet as totally fake.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, at least from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to hold anything of value. It's just entertainment value, by and large. Unless you're commenting on like real life things. So like that's why it's so stupid for Stargon because it's like he's a YouTuber, he's an internet guy who's trying to start a political movement.
And I don't even necessarily think that an internet guy can't start a political movement. I just don't think Sargon can. First of all, he's been like, I'm sorry, but if your political movement starts off with a comedian like Andy Worski pushing your shit in the way he has, then I don't think it's off to a bang up start.
You are acting like a bunch of losers.
Yeah, and there's that too. I'm sure you're going to be embraced by politicians after running your mouth about white niggers.
Well, and the other thing, I think somebody else pointed this out, is that his entire political movement is defensive. And that was one of the problems with conservatism, like the neocons and the rhinos, is they were way too defensive. They were never offensive in the sense that, they were never promoting anything. They were just promoting things that they're kind of against, like just status quo, status quo, status quo. And that's how Sargon is.
Yeah.
With the liberalist movement, well, you're promoting free speech. Okay. Anything in particular with free speech? I mean, again, maybe it's different in the UK. I mean, obviously, than it is here in America, but even how he's promoting it over there, it doesn't come across as, here are the principles laid out for free speech that I am endorsing and supporting. It's more like, we want free speech.
However, in Canada, as we all know, the liberalist movement is all about white pride and traps. So basically, it's the alt-right.
Yeah, the trap no state.
Yeah, the trap no state. Andy Worski pushing in the liberalist shit has been just fantastic. Like when he got the trademark and when he did the liberalist Discord, and he's running. I saw this one where he's talking to V, right? And V is all trying to like ask him like serious questions. V is just not getting the joke, and Worski is like, no, we're going to be all about the trap no state.
Oh, no, I get the joke. I want to ask the question. I get the joke, though.
That's what somebody was pointing out with a lot of these, these skeptics that now they're the liberalists or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves now. These guys have turned out to be so humorless. They appeared to be, so based and funny when they were making fun of a bunch of blue-haired teenagers on Tumblr. But now that somebody's poking some fun at them, holy shit, did they get defensive in a hurry. And look, everybody gets defensive sometimes. You manage to push their buttons and they get pissed off. We're all human beings like that. But it just, time and time again, these guys are showing they don't have a shred of humor about themselves.
Well, I think it's, again, you go too long and then you take yourself too seriously. I mean, Sargon, he wasn't taking himself this seriously back when he first started this stuff, Now, he is. He's gotten his ego. And when you get a big ego, you take yourself more seriously than you need to. You take this whole thing. But, did you hear that V, got trolled for, an hour or half an hour talking to somebody he thought was an SJW, but in reality, this guy was just trolling him. And everyone in the chat was telling him this, this guy's trolling you. He's not for real. He's not serious. And he just, keeps on going like this is the real deal.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean,
it just not surprise me at all. Most of the clips I catch of the internet blood sports stuff, because I mean, they put out a lot of content, and I mean, good for them, but I don't necessarily have time to catch a lot of that content. So there's a channel, Kronos.
I watched that, or American Pride.
Yeah, American Pride, and they do the bite-sized bits of it that are really good to catch up on.
That's usually what I do. Like I said, the only ones I've really ever caught all of would be I haven't even caught all, but I caught a good portion of the initial one with Sargon, Styx, and Spencer and Woes. And then the only other one I've really watched was the Destiny and Joe Biggs debate on Baked Alaska's channel. About gun control.
But yeah, I caught and look, you can I know both Forney and Davis kind of were against the blood sports stuff at first, and they both softened their position on it.
So here it is.
Oh, go ahead, Luke. Go ahead with that.
Oh no, there's a clip from Andy Worski's liberalist trademark story with Medicare. That's unfortunately that's 28 minutes long. I can't find the clip.
Oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, I was never against it. I found it entertaining right from the get-go. I think the first couple of big ones where it was Sargon versus Mike Enoch or some shit like that, I'm like, who the hell cares? Or Sargon versus Anglin or whatever. I'm like, they're both retards. I don't care. But here's the thing. Most of them are pretty entertaining. And anyone's like, well, what's this really accomplishing? Well, it's not setting out to accomplish anything other than being entertaining. But you know what? It sure showed the honey badger's true colors on us, didn't it? I mean, it's kind of exposed some stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would maybe say with it is, it can be a sense to where, we're kind of getting the house divided against itself. I mean, because there was most of these people were pretty united against a lot of the leftist nonsense, even if they had their own issues. And so, we do appear to be a lot, I think a little bit more divided now through internet blood sports than it was before. So there's kind of always, the fear of, the leftists are, down but not out, and just sort of waiting for an opportunity. I mean, of course, again, they're not very much down. They're still very much prevalent in universities and, in political areas. So, I mean, for me, I don't think we would really see a big shift in culture until we can get these kind of professors out of the universities and get more, right-leaning, red-pilled, whatever you want to call it, into the universities. That was what was necessary for the Southern Baptist Convention. A lot of the Southern, Baptist seminaries were very liberal, and then Paige Patterson and a few other guys as part of the SBC in an 8-year plan worked to get these professors out. They worked to get in conservative presidents into the seminary and systematically drove these liberal professors out, and then got conservative professors back in there. And ever since then, the SBC has been a much more conservative organization through its seminaries. But they had to get, and they recognized that they had to get the seminaries because those are the ones that are putting out the preachers who are speaking on these things. And I think as long as you've got, as long as university is infested with leftists, you're still going to have them being very relevant in the culture.
What's that guy, Russell Moore or something? Is he still in charge of the Southern Baptist thing?
He's not in charge of the Southern Baptist Convention. He's in charge of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. So he's still in charge of that. And again, he's definitely got his issues.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be like he's qualified to be in charge of anything other than prepping the bull.
Yeah.
I like if that guy spent half as much time on something constructive as he does in desperately trying to prove the leftists he's not racist, then I mean that guy could be curing cancer or something.
Yeah, no, that's a big problem with. I mean, Luke and I talked about this a couple of streams ago. That is a huge problem amongst a lot of leaders, especially in the SBC. Is they're just, I think, because of the history of the SBC, so many leaders are just terrified that people are going to think that they're racist. That essentially they kind of do the same thing that boomers do with women, to where they kind of worship women. They think women can do no wrong. They kind of think they're thinking that like black people can do no wrong.
They didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
they literally think that they didn't do nothing.
I mean, that's how they approach it a lot of times. I mean, if you read a lot of these articles, it's all about what white people have to do for racial reconciliation. They don't ever bother to try to address how black people could be approaching, racial reconciliation in a sinful manner. That's never brought up.
That's a common thing in evangelical culture. I'm not just going to crap on the SPLC. I know over Breakpoint, there's been a few times they've spoken far too kindly about the concept of social justice, for example.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the thing is a lot of the black people in the SBC don't like it. They hate it. I know a couple of black guys on Twitter who, they're like, this is, why are you guys doing this? This is not what we want. This isn't gonna, this isn't, further the kingdom at all. And it's, I don't know. Like I said, J.D. Greer, unfortunately, which I really like him. He's a pretty solid guy. He was writing this article ever since this stupid New York Times article about how black people are leaving white evangelical churches. And even he was just, spouting a lot of the same nonsense.
Yeah, it turns out a black man who's an actual God-fearing Christian has no interest in Russell Moore sucking his cock.
Yeah.
Who could have thought? Who could have guessed?
I don't know. So that might be the thing for me to someday do. Of course, I'd probably have to delete all these streams, but maybe me get more involved in the SBC and see what I could change there.
Yeah, you might want to not want. Well, you can't delete my streams though, so you might be. What you might have some guilt by association issues to deal with.
You might just have to censor me out. So it's like, dude.
I disavow Bechtloff.
That's going to take so much editing time.
Because I can just see, I get accepted, I'm voted in as the next president for the SBC, and then I get up there to give some kind of speech or something. Next thing you know, it's like one of these clips from when you guys are talking about fleshlights. Come on, start playing over the speakers.
Yeah, I can't run for nothing. Let's see what we got going on in the chat here. Let's see. American Protestants are cucked. What will you tell me? What will you tell me next? Gays get their dildo cake. Let's see. Somebody wants to call in. I think I'll let him call in and then probably wrap this up. I should probably go to bed soon. I got a lot going on tomorrow. Let's see. What else we got in the chat? Oh, folks, I believe I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but tomorrow night, the Saturday stream will be at 9 p.m. Eastern, not 8. So, little programming note there. Somebody in the chat says Pastor Tom endorses fleshlights confirmed. Let's see. I got Virile Journey. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to. There was just 2 things I want to talk to you guys about what you're talking about earlier about people like Spoonie compared to people like JonTron and what's his name, Ralph, like Cinemasker. That's the guy you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest difference between somebody like Spoonie and them, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like JonTron and Ralph, like it seems like that they had their own jobs, like before they started their YouTubing. And at least like JonTron, I mean, he films pretty sporadically. Like it doesn't even seem like he needs it. Which, like as far as my understanding is that Spoonie was living with his parents when he started doing his YouTube thing.
I think JonTron does have a day job. I would guess.
I would believe so. I don't know how he can make money off of it. Like how?
Yeah, because I don't think JonTron has a Patreon. If he did, he'd probably be making serious bank. I don't know why he doesn't.
Well, because he just likes doing it. I mean, obviously.
Well, yeah, he obviously loves what he's doing. And yeah, I think I don't want to say it's a mistake to get yourself in a position where this is your full-time job. I would say it's dangerous. Am I
right? Was Spoonie living with his parents when he was making YouTube videos at first?
I don't think Spoonie's ever held a real job. I know he had some sort of degree in computer programming that by his own admission is now obsolete. So maybe he had like an IT job for a while. But Spoonie, he never lived on his own with a real job or anything. There's a certain lack of life experience to these guys. I mean, Movie Bob, for example, very famously never moved out of his parents' house until he was 31. Yeah, a lot of these guys, they don't really know what's going on in the real world. And also, like, somebody like Spoonie, he's kind of trapped in it, even though he doesn't want to do it anymore. Like, I mean, Spoonie has a decade-long gap in employment now. And, I mean, can you imagine being in an interview where you try to explain what you've been doing, and you're like, yeah, I was doing YouTube videos for a while, and they got really popular, and they're making me a lot of money, but it kind of, ran its course, and now I need some more work. Well, even if a boomer's willing to the boomer at the HR desk is willing to overlook the fact that you have a gap in, as they would put it, real job, they're going to look at your most recent video in which it's like 4 a.m. and you're strung out and screaming at your fans. And they're going to think you're some crazy guy who's going to shoot up the office.
Like, again, compare that to somebody like the Cinemasker guy.
Yeah, James Rolfe.
Like, honestly, I think he could probably get a real job.
Yes, because again, if somebody...
Because he's really mature and professional with his content.
Yeah, again, if somebody were to look up James Rolfe's videos, even if they're not getting why it's funny, they're going to be like, oh, okay, it's somebody making goofy videos online. Whereas Spoonie looks like he's going to be a spree shooter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Movie Bob. If you try to watch a Movie Bob video, if you actually listen to it for 10 minutes, you'll hear one of the most hateful motherfuckers in the world.
Oh, man, no. It's just that, like, like, I don't know. Like, the funny thing was, I thought you were, like, to be honest with you, I thought you were shitting on Movie Bob too much until I saw that Easy Peasy video of him.
What else did you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, the other thing. I mean, this was just kind of like a funny blood sports kind of thing. Did you did you see the Kronos clip of Andy Worski talking about his VR porn addiction?
Oh yes, I did actually.
You did see that?
Yeah, he mentioned that he mentioned that he downloaded he got a VR thing and he downloaded some porn videos onto it and he was watching way too much of it.
65 gigabytes or something like that.
Well, he said it was 64 gigabytes, but then he was like, one of these videos is 8 gigabytes because it takes up so much data. But yeah, VR porn, I can't imagine.
Yeah, but I mean, you saw him with Medicare talking to him about that.
Oh yeah, Medicare was ripping him a new one for it, but that's
yeah, it was hilarious. He's like, oh yeah, why don't you just destroy it right now? No, don't mail it off. Like, ask your girlfriend how you should take.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's like, he thinks he didn't get caught, but he doesn't know because he's wearing that goofy headset. Can you imagine? He's just sitting on a swivel chair, jerking his dick with a headset on, and his girlfriend just walks in and then quietly backs out of the room.
Yeah, and he just goes bing, bing, woo.
He's not careful. He's going to have that arm after Quagmire discovers the internet, and one arm's 3 times the size of the other.
And one arm's all jacked.
Oh man, but that was I don't know, that was just crazy to me. Because just listening to him talk about how he lost weight.
Yeah, he lost a few fucking pounds in the course of a week because he was holy shit, dude. Telling you, man, that stuff's bad for you. You gotta give it up.
I know, it's just you thought regular porn was bad. It was just no. Before I was just doing regular porn, but when I got to the VR porn, that's when I lost the 10 pounds.
Somebody you know somebody says, I guess talking about the VR porn, I think that's how Spoonie might die.
Yeah, but you know what? I gotta give it to Andy for this, to admitting to thousands of people on the internet that he's a chronic masturbator and that he's gonna fix himself. I gotta give him a little bit of credit for that. That shows
Andy. Well, that's the thing. Worski doesn't take himself seriously, and you gotta give him credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's going on no fap, which, to be honest, it sounds like he, from my perspective, I don't think it was just the VR porn. This guy sounds like he's masturbating every day. So, I mean, that's good on him. I think. I don't know, just the, I first heard about Andy, 2 years ago, and I thought he was a complete dipshit, and now I'm just kind of I still think he's kind of a dipshit, but
yeah, he's kind of a dipshit, but he's a lovable dipshit.
Well, but I mean, he really went from being derivative to getting his own identity.
Yeah, I mean. I gotta admit, the guy's got balls. He puts himself out there. I gotta give him credit for that. I mean, not that I've ever had a problem as embarrassing as his, but if I did, I don't know if I'd be so happy to candidly speak it in front of thousands of people on the internet, and to have thousands of more people rewatch it later.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this stream up because I'm just about out of things to talk about. Caller, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. And Pastor Tom, thanks for hopping in.
Thanks for having me on.
Luke, as always, thanks for your sidekick duties. Pastor Tom, if you're free, you're welcome on to tomorrow night's show. I'm not putting you on the spot live. You don't have to commit to it, but I'm just saying if you're free, you're welcome on.
Cool. Thanks for the invite.
And I'm not really answer in front of everybody. No. But no, if you want to hop in, consider it an open invitation. And yeah, folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, there's the ways to support me down below. There's the tip jar, the PayPal, the Patreon, the Amazon wish list, 3 ways to support me. And that's all I got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.